Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain an American horror comedy film from 2026, titled Hold the Fort. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. The movie opens in the Gruber community, where we meet an elderly couple, Herb and Mabel. They are getting ready to fight something that has been attacking their home every night for years. Mabel suggests selling the house because she is tired of fighting and wants to live in peace. However, Herb refuses because the house has been passed down through his family for generations. Mabel tells Herb that she has already contacted a realtor, who will be coming the next day. She says they have been offered a large amount of money for the house, but Herb declares that they will only sell it over his dead body. Just then, a portal opens outside the house, and the couple prepare to fight the creature coming out of it. The next morning, the realtor and his associate arrive at the house, and to their surprise, they find a broken window with blood-stained curtains. Moments later, Mabel walks out of the house covered in blood and tells the realtor that they will sell the house. This suggests that Herb is dead, whether he was killed by Mabel or by the creature that came through the portal. The scene then shifts to a cheerful man named Lucas jogging around his neighborhood while the other residents are doing sanitation. He checks his mailbox, finds a letter, and returns home to his wife, Jenny. It turns out that the couple have recently moved into the Gruber community and are now living in the elderly couple's former house. The letter is from the community president, a group known as the HOA, Homeowners Association, welcoming them to the neighborhood. Jenny is not happy about getting involved with the HOA and wants nothing to do with them, but Lucas assures her that it is not a big deal. The letter also invites them to the community's annual equinox party that night. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. It is the same realtor, Jerry, from the beginning of the movie. It turns out that he is the president of the HOA, and he has come to make sure they receive the invitation. The party will be held at the community clubhouse, and Lucas tells Jerry that they will not miss it, even though Jenny does not want to attend. The next day, the couple arrives at Fort Gruber, the community clubhouse for the party, and there, they meet the other neighbors. One of the neighbors, Ted, and his lovely wife, Annette, welcome Lucas and Jenny to the equinox celebration. Ted explains that once every year, a portal from hell opens in the neighborhood, allowing all kinds of monsters to come out and attack. To protect themselves, the community built a fort on this very ground. Inside the fort, they fight the monsters and defend their land, and hearing this leaves Lucas and Jenny completely shocked. The HOA president, Jerry, then gets everyone's attention and officially introduces Lucas and Jenny, since it is their first time attending the party. He shows them a storyboard filled with drawings of different monsters that are expected to attack that night, along with the easiest ways to kill them. Jerry also warns everyone about the leader of the Dark Army, the Stickman. He says that if anyone ever encounters the Stickman, they should run for their lives because no one has ever survived meeting him. Later, the group decides to play a raffle, and Lucas wins a shotgun. Although everyone wants the prize, a couple named Les and Mar are especially unhappy that Lucas won it. With only 15 minutes left before the portal is supposed to open, everyone spends the remaining time drinking and chatting. However, the portal suddenly opens earlier than expected, forcing the group to prepare for the coming attack.
Come on, you.
The first creatures to emerge are witches, who immediately begin attacking the group. Lucas and Jenny panic, but then McScruffy, a hired legendary monster killer, arrives. As the witches attack the group with their blasts, they kill several people. The survivors fight back by shooting at the witches, killing some of them, and in the end, the group defeats all the witches, thanks to McScruffy. Lucas is terrified by everything he has just witnessed, and when someone suddenly startles him, he accidentally shoots McScruffy in the leg. As everyone turns to look at him, Lucas panics and demands to know what is happening and who the witches are. Jerry calms Lucas down and explains everything to him, but Lucas thinks they are all crazy. He cannot understand why they refused to leave the neighborhood long ago, and Lucas tells Jenny that they should leave, but she refuses. Suddenly, Jerry's body becomes weak, almost as if he is paralyzed, and he is placed near a window along with Lucas, who is told to watch the portal. Moments later, Lucas sees floating silver orbs coming out of the portal. Jerry explains that they are kung fu spirits, and the spirits possess 3 members of the group. Jerry tells Lucas to go to the trunk and bring out the peachwood sword to defeat the possessed people, but Lucas is too scared to move. Les and Mar decide to attack the possessed members, but they are quickly defeated. The possessed members then attack the others, creating panic throughout the fort. Some people are bitten and also transform into monsters. Lucas, Jenny, Ted, and Annette try to stop the monsters by shooting them with a shotgun, but the bullets have no effect. Ted manages to distract the monsters for a short time, giving everyone a chance to escape into a back room with the injured McScruffy and the paralyzed Jerry. Lucas tries to call the police for help, but the call does not go through, and Ted tells him not to waste his time because it will not work. Frustrated with Lucas's constant complaints, Ted blames him for the deaths of the other members because of his carelessness. Jerry explains that the police will never come because, when the government first discovered the portal, they wanted everyone to leave the neighborhood. However, the community later reached an agreement with the government that allowed them to stay, and as a result, they now live here as their own small county. Returning to the main issue, Jerry explains that the kung fu spirits can only be killed by stabbing them in the heart with the peachwood sword, which is kept inside the trunk. Feeling responsible for McScruffy's condition, Lucas decides to put aside his fear and help retrieve the sword. Ted offers to guide him, and after arming themselves, the 2 men leave the room. To their surprise, the possessed members are nowhere to be seen, and they quietly make their way to the trunk. While Lucas searches for the peachwood sword, a thick fog suddenly appears and begins to fill the room. Moments later, the possessed members surround them, and Lucas finally finds the sword, and he and Ted fight the creatures together. However, Lucas struggles to use the sword, and since the back room door is locked shut, the 2 men run into the bathroom for safety. While catching their breath, Ted tells Lucas that the only way to defeat the creatures is to stab them in the heart. He encourages Lucas to stay strong because they need to act quickly, and if another monster comes out of the portal, they will be in even greater danger. After receiving some advice from Ted, Lucas begins to feel more confident about fighting, and they also find some cocaine, which they plan to give to McScruffy. Just then, they hear a strange sound outside, and Jerry seems to know what is coming. Lucas and Ted leave the bathroom and confront the possessed creatures, and this time, they manage to defeat them by stabbing them in the heart. As they celebrate their victory, a huge werewolf suddenly appears. Ted volunteers to fight the beast and tells Lucas to take the cocaine to McScruffy. Ted and the werewolf begin fighting, but the beast overpowers him and injures him. Meanwhile, Lucas gives the cocaine to McScruffy by putting it through his nose, while Jenny tries to reload McScruffy's gun. The werewolf attacks Annette, but Ted cuts off one of its hands with a handsaw. However, the werewolf kills Ted by piercing his stomach with its other hand. Suddenly, the cocaine takes effect, and McScruffy wakes up. He kills the werewolf with his guns, ending the threat. Heartbroken, Annette cries over Ted's dying body, and before taking his last breath, Ted confesses his love for his wife. As everyone mourns his death, Ted suddenly wakes up, now possessed, and starts choking Annette. But Lucas quickly cuts off Ted's hand with the handsaw and then finishes him. Overwhelmed by what he has just done, Lucas begins to panic. He tells Jenny that he should have listened to her from the beginning and not come there in the first place. However, Jenny comforts Lucas, telling him that she actually enjoyed being there because the neighbors made her feel like she was part of a real family. She does not blame him for everything that has happened and encourages him by saying they will survive the night. Despite Ted's death, Annette is not ready to give up, and the remaining survivors come up with a plan to destroy the portal once and for all. Their plan is to use Annette's homemade moonshine, which she says is 190 proof and highly flammable. They intend to throw it into the portal to destroy it. Just then, another wave of monsters, the kamikaze bats, emerges from the portal, and the group immediately puts their plan into action. While Annette fills a tank with the moonshine, Jenny shoots the bats that are flying toward the house. Since Lucas will be the one to carry the tank to the portal, McScruffy, who has recovered, offers to go with him. McScruffy is strapped onto Lucas's shoulders, and together they head toward the portal carrying the tank filled with moonshine. As they get close to the portal, they suddenly fall to the ground, causing all the moonshine to spill out of the tank. Lucas cuts the duct tape that is holding them together, and since the tank is now empty, McScruffy shows Lucas the C4 strapped to his body and tells him to take him to the portal. Back at the clubhouse, fog begins to fill the building again, and Jerry is suddenly dragged away by an unseen force. To the horror of Annette and Jenny, they begin to hear strange noises as the temperature in the room starts to drop. Moments later, they are startled by a creature wrapped in ropes, known as the Stickman. Still angry over Ted's death, Annette stabs the creature in the face with a sharp object. However, the creature fights back and kills her. The creature then reveals its face, terrifying Jenny, and it begins attacking her with its telekinetic powers. Meanwhile, Lucas and McScruffy reach the portal, and instead of removing the C4 strapped to his body, McScruffy tells Lucas that there is no time and urges him to run. After sharing a heartfelt moment with Lucas, McScruffy activates the C4 and falls into the portal. The explosion destroys all the remaining creatures, including the monster attacking Jenny, and finally closes the portal. With everything over, Lucas collapses to the ground, and Jerry is brought back and is able to move again. 1 year later, Jerry welcomes another new couple who have just moved into the Gruber community. He invites them to the clubhouse party before meeting Lucas and Jenny. The movie ends with Lucas and Jenny happily becoming part of the community. Okay guys, that's all the recap about Hold the Fort from 2026. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.